Please welcome Corey Perlman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. So for me, a true social media strategy really comes down to keeping it simple. Are you laughing at me or at the pig? Oh, okay, you're laughing at the pig. It's like, uh-oh, that's the first thing I looked down. Like, sorry. Is keeping it simple. So I think that that's really important when it comes to social media marketing. So I'm going to give you 7 quick strategies to make sure that you're driving more business for your conferences that you do and the businesses that you represent. I will tell you a quick story. The reason this all came about is a man was sitting in my audience about a year or so ago, and at a break, he ran up to me sweating profusely, very nervous, and he's like, "Corey, you haven't talked about syndicating my Twitter feed on my website. I need you to do that, and you haven't done it yet." And I said, "No problem. I'm not planning on doing it on this presentation. Be happy to talk to you afterwards. Tell me more about your business." And he said, "I sell medical supplies to the elderly." And we kind of had this sort of moment where we looked at each other and our heads are kind of like, and I didn't say anything, and he's like, "Do I need to be on Twitter?" And I was like, "I'm not sure that you do. I'm not sure that your market is there." And he was like, "Oh, okay, great." And he skipped back to his seat. So I would say rule number 1 is fish where the fish are. Figure out where your market is, your economic buyer, and then plant yourselves there. A lot of people ask me about Snapchat, is this newest, the shiny new penny syndrome. And I was actually talking about Snapchat in a presentation, and a man made a sound from the audience that I had never heard before. It was just this frustration that just came through him, and I feel like I found it online here. This is as close as I can come to the sound that man made. I think he was frustrated because he was just starting to feel like he was getting, LinkedIn, Facebook, and then along comes another social media site that he has to figure out. So I want to tell you right now that, and this is just a quick example, that you can very easily find the demographics of the audience that are primarily on these sites. And Snapchat is 13 to 25. So, Instagram really is covering the millennial market, but if, millennials is an opportunity for you, and you say, "Oh, well, I got to jump on Snapchat." Well, wait a second. It's really more Generation Z right now. And there are sites such as Periscope, which everybody was super excited about 2 or 3 years ago, that are really non-existent today. So I think it's important to not jump in super quickly, but to understand where your audience is and go in when the audience gets there. So I think that's very important. Number 2 is to make sure that you don't end up on websites that suck.com. So I'm a big proponent of making sure that your website is doing its job. And this is actually a real website. And I was lucky enough to see all of your websites. I'm about to show you what I would consider the one that would rank number 1 on websites at suck.com from this audience. I'm just kidding. It got super quiet in here very quickly. I would never do that to you. But I do a lot of website evaluations in my presentations and such, and these are some common mistakes that we see, common website mistakes. They're dated. I can tell very quickly if a site's been built in 2013 or 14. You got to keep your site up, keep it modern. It's missing critical content. The number 1 mistake that I see businesses make is not having their phone number in an obvious place on their website, easy for people to see. Don't make it challenging to buy from you. Not mobile responsive, so I call it the thumb test, to be able to quickly navigate your website just with your thumb. Google's actually penalizing sites today that are not truly mobile responsive, so that's very important. Too many social media icons and no opt-in box. I'll show you an example of that. It's a friend of mine's site. Here I had mentioned to her that although she has all the social media icons, Google+, which is a social network that has pretty much disappeared, is still on her site. So if you're not actively managing a social media site, why would you want to take them off of your site and onto that network? So only put on the social media icons that actually make sense to your business. But I'm also really happy that she has book your free consultation, download now. There's opportunities to be able to collect people's information on your website, which is really important to keeping up the relationship. Number 3 is be proud of your profiles. So I own a social media agency, and we were working with an executive, and they were thinking about taking their company public, and their board, the executive's board, Googled him. And there was an issue because not that there were bad things about him, but there were social media sites that he was on that he wasn't active on. And it was actually kind of putting holes in his credibility. So my suggestion to you and to your audiences is to do a social audit of all the sites that you're on and just make a decision. Are you going to actively manage those sites, or do you want to strategically delete them? But what you don't want to do is leave them hanging. There's nothing worse, there's nothing quicker to kill your credibility than an untouched profile. So really important to take an audit, take a moment, look at all your sites, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, wherever you are, and just make a decision. And if you're not going to be there, I would strategically remove it than to have 20 connections and not updated it in a few years. LinkedIn, which is one of my favorite sites as a professional network, just some common things to think about, not just on your LinkedIn profile, but any social sites, making sure you have a consistent brand. So professional headshot. Almost every social network today has the opportunity for the big background photo, and I only see about half of LinkedIn users who even do that. That's an opportunity for us as speakers to have a nice presentation photo back there. You might have an example of one of your conferences, something to that effect. Businesses have, maybe their team back there, but a nice thing. There's a free site, if you want to write this down, called Canva.com, where you can actually put these images back there, and they will show you where there are places like on LinkedIn where it shows up and such. So Canva.com, free site, great opportunity to be able to use those background photos. Getting to the 500 plus connections on LinkedIn, you can still do quality connections over quantity and get to that level, which is important. And the opportunity on LinkedIn as a publishing platform now. I love the opportunity to be able to blog on LinkedIn and put my content out there for people to be able to syndicate and such. On your professional summary, just a quick best practice here, bullets over paragraphs. So people scan more than they read today. So if you can, on your executive summary, use bullets or numbers over paragraphs, people will read those quicker. And there's opportunity to put multimedia in your executive summary on LinkedIn. So maybe a nice virtual tour of one of your past presentations would be cool to bring your profile to life. And on this one, quality recommendations. So people always ask me about recommendations on LinkedIn. Who should I have on there? For you, it would be, let's say, a sponsor of your event. Man, they had a great event. It was super organized. Attendees were awesome, very active and engaged. Those are buying signals that you want to see on your LinkedIn recommendation, as opposed to like a colleague at your office. Number 4 is don't let people forget about you. So someone may have met you in January, but they may not do business with you until October. So how do you stay top of mind with people that have interacted with you? Well, one, of course, is email marketing, as I mentioned before, collecting people's information and staying with them on email. But the other one is connecting with them on social media. And the first thing to do is connect, but the second thing to do is produce great content and be a resource or a utility for those individuals. So again, on LinkedIn here, you can see the opportunity to share an update, upload a photo, or publish content. I always do the frequently asked questions. What are common questions that you get from buyers, whatever the case may be? That's the type of content that you want to produce so that you stay top of mind. The other thing that we forget about oftentimes is to interact with our customers and prospects who are doing things online. You see here, for example, Bob Dixon here shared a post on LinkedIn. If I click like, comment, or share, that's a nice little feather in the cap for me and a reminder to Bob that I'm still out here, which is a nice building rapport opportunity with Bob. Video everywhere. So I'm very, very bullish on video in 2017, and specifically, you can have it on your YouTube channel and such, but Facebook Live, I'd write that down. It's a great publishing platform from Facebook that allows us to be able to instantaneously start to broadcast ourselves live. And what I like to think about is Facebook is really promoting this right now. They're heavy on this, so why not use that as a marketing opportunity, right? So you'll even notice now on your Facebook feed, I noticed this yesterday, a Facebook Live little square came up on my news feed showing me that somebody was live. And that's brand new. So they're really promoting this, a great opportunity for this year to have maybe some of your speakers or sponsors go live to be able to pump up your events. Last two really quickly. Number 6 is turn clients into friends. So I use Facebook as an opportunity to build rapport with my clients. Who are your VIPs? Who are the people that you want to build a relationship? Are they only hearing from you at invoice time, or is there opportunity to be able to expand that rapport? So I'll give you a quick example. Mary Stevenson, her birthday's May 11th. She just celebrated her 10th year of being cigarette-free. She's a huge Alabama Crimson Tide fan. I know all these things about her because we're connected on Facebook. And I know there's a lot of disadvantages to that, but I will tell you that it's really powerful, an opportunity to build deep rapport and not just hear from us at invoice time. Oh, and that's, we compete for cuteness pictures, and that's my son Milo. That's my ooh-ah from this moment here. She and I compete for cuteness pictures, and I think I win. And today's his birthday, by the way, so you say happy birthday, Milo? And last but not least, don't cold call. And I simply mean that there's huge opportunity to be able to find mutual connections, specifically on LinkedIn. So this is just an example where I typed in speakers bureaus, you could type in conferences, whatever the case may be, and it actually shows you who your mutual connections with. Social media is word of mouth on steroids. And this is the opportunity for very quickly for people to be able to see who you're connected to and for you to be able to turn a cold call into a warm lead. So, in summary, fish where the fish are. Don't let your websites get bent out of shape. Don't do it all yourself. Get help doing it. So if you're trying to do it all yourself, you're doing it wrong. And be creative. This is how I used to cook hot dogs in college. And keep it simple. I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.